Hey everyone, welcome back. Let's continue talking about Google Sheets. Let's start off by talking about how do we add or remove a row or a column. So here we're in column H. I can easily right click in that area where it has the column. And I can insert a column to the left or insert a column to the right. So I say go left, boom, there we go. Right? If I want to delete that column, I can just right click and there it is, delete column. Same thing for a row. If I wanted to add a row at the bottom here, I can just right click, insert a row above or below. Let's go below. If I want to delete that row, right click and delete the row. Gotcha. All right, let's pretend now that we have maybe on this sheet, we have the number of copies needed. So I want to figure out how many copies does this school or does this company need? A couple ways to do that. One, I can highlight all of this data. Come on down. Remember my last video, I showed you a little pro tip. Highlight the first cell, hold down the Control, Shift, and press the down arrow. We'll select everything for you. Next, in Google Sheets, you can come down to the bottom right-hand corner and you'll see there is the sum button, right? Or showing you the sum automatically. So the sum is 810. If I click that little arrow, I can see my average is 26, min is 18, max 32, and my count is 31. I can easily just change it, say, hey, show me the average, click on it, show me the sum by clicking that little arrow. But let's also fact check that. So here in this next cell down, I can say equals, and I want to say, what is the sum? Ooh, and it even shows me, hey, is this what you want to do? And it shows me the answer at 810. So yeah, I want to do that. F2 through F32. And I can put down here, hey, this is the total. But the hard part is that, hey, if I want to see this on a spreadsheet, I open it up. For me, I have to see what that total is at the very, very beginning. So I'm going to come up here in between row 2, right click and say add a row above. And I can call this here is my total. I want to put my my column total right there. So I'll delete that one so it doesn't get counted. Equals sum F3 through F37. Great, click it. And now it says 810. But the only problem is what happens if someone comes in, hey, I want to add 30 more. Notice, right, there it is. Right, we got F through F37. If I had just gone through F33, it would not have counted. So if I were to change that form and say F33, right, it would say, okay, I've got it, 810. I could add in more numbers below, and it's still going to stay 810. One of the other cool tips and tricks in Google Sheets, if I come to my formula and get rid of the 33, so it's just F3 through the column F and hit go. There we go. Now I have my new total. I can fact check that again. Click on the 23 and come down. Yep, check it, 900. Now if I add in, say, let's say 25, I go back up, it's going to continue adding up my numbers, which is a cool thing to do. So if I even were to come down and say, oh, I'm going to add more rows at the very bottom, I can add a whole bunch at one time. Say I want to add in 40 rows, hit add, and then I come back up and start plunking in a bunch of numbers. Right, it's going to go through and continue to add those up for me, which is pretty cool. So that's one of a nice little feature is if there says F, it'll continue counting all the way down the column, even if you add more rows, which is pretty sweet. All right, let's go back and get rid of some of that. We don't need it. Again, if I wanted to find the average, let's pretend I want to find the average. So I'm going to go right click and say add one below. This time I'm going to say show me the average. I can say equals, oh, look at that, because it knows average is right there. I love that AI integration, right? Say, hey, if you want that average F4 through F38, just press the tab button. So I'll do that, press tab, right? How did I do that? It'd be equals average, and then you put in where your starting row and column F4 through F38. And if I said, all right, I want to do the same thing, I can come up and modify that just through F. So if I add more rows and add more data there, it'll continue to average that for me, which is pretty slick. One of the other things in the last video, I showed you how to add the freeze row. So now I come up and down. Oh, wait, I don't see that total and average. I might want to come back over, grab the white glove. There it is. Click, hold down, and drag it in. So now I have rows 1, 2, and 3 frozen. So that at all times, if I'm adding in more data, now say, all right, here we go. I'll add 50. Add another 50. You can see my average is going up. Add 75. My total is going up. My average is going up. If I add a 13, now that should be going down. I'll add 10. There you go. And you can see that is going down. Average is going down as the total goes up. So that's still working. Pretty slick. All right, next little fun thing we're gonna do. Let's pretend I want to count. Ooh, how many treats? How many of these teachers or people? How many of them like Snickers? How many like Twix? Okay, this will be a nice fun thing to do. So I'm gonna add another column in here. I'm gonna make those columns just a little bit smaller. We don't need that much space. Perfect. One of my other formulas that I really like is the unique function. So if I come in here and type in equals, there we go, and start typing in unique, I can click on it and it says, all right, what is my range? I want to come over here and get my treat. So that will be E4, E4. And again, I can go colon through E. That is my range. And let's see what unique values come up. Hit enter, and automatically it gives me Snickers, Twix, right? Everything that is unique in there. If Twix was spelled with a lowercase or something, maybe the E on the end, let's see what happens. Right, we have a lowercase. Oh, look at that, right? It is unique because it's not exactly the same. So this is where when you're doing a lot of data, it's nice to have like a Google form, bring that into your spreadsheet so that everything is exactly the same. Let's get rid of that Twix. Check. The next thing I want to show you is then how do we count the number of people that like Snickers? So this is going to be a count if, and I'm going to use the count if function. Count is for counting a certain number, like how many times does 23 show up? Then you want to use a count. If you want to count a word or a phrase, I'm going to use the count or a different condition. I'm going to use count if and say count if. Check. My range is E4 through E. And my criteria, I could type in the word Snickers, and I put some quotation marks around it, or say, ooh, I already have these unique values here, H4, I can use H4. Let's count how many Snickers. Oh, I love this AI. Do I want to autofill these? Let's do it. Let's double check the formulas. So now, if I were to bring this a little closer together, so 9, so it's counting for H4, and you notice that now it's going up E5, E6, E7, E8, E9. One of the things I could have done is use a $sign in here. So it says it has to start in column E and 4 and go all the way down 4. So now I could delete all those out. Watch what happens, but I do want the H4 to change. So if I want to do a autofill here, I can grab that little circle. You see the little plus sign shows up. I'm going to click and hold down and now drag down my column. And there we go. Let's check the formula. So this should be 11 Twix, right? So I have E4 through E. We're counting number 5, H5, which is Twix. Then the only thing I should change is then H6 to be 3 Musketeers, H7, H8. Perfect. Right? So now let's say, hey, I want to freeze this, bring that down just a little bit. But look, now I can come down and say, all right, what happens if someone else fills out my form or I enter in a Twix? There it is, goes number 12. I add in a Snickers, 10, right? If I were to delete a Snickers, right? Someone moves, I don't need them anymore. I delete it. They go up or they go down. Perfect. And when you're done, you're done.